So finally got the MT-09 done. It's down off the lift, and I finally hit my mileage, hit 600 miles on the Aprilia. So I got it up on the lift, and I'm gonna start a whole series of upgrade videos on the Aprilia. I'm gonna be putting exhaust on. I'm gonna be getting rid of the exhaust servo motor, which is up in here. I'm gonna be putting velocity stacks in. I'm gonna put new rear sets on. Basically this whole shelf of parts over here are all things that are gonna be going into the Aprilia. Lots of stuff gonna happen. Start with, I kind of waited to do this all at one time because a lot of this stuff you would have to take off to do it, and I didn't want to have to take it off multiple times. Like you have to take this rear set off to mount the mount for the new exhaust, and I'm putting new rear mounts on, or rear sets on, so I didn't want to take them off twice, so kind of waited to do it. So once I take that off, then I'll put the exhaust in, and I'll put the exhaust bracket in there with the new rear set. Plus, while I'm at it, I can get the exhaust servo cables out of there and get the motor out of there. I got an exhaust servo bypass plug for that. So probably one of the first things I'm going to do is start by just taking, I already got the rear cowl and the seat off. I'm going to start by taking the belly pan and the side fairings off of this thing. But I'm also going to be doing an oil change, which I would have had to drop the belly pan for that, because the filter is up in there. Since it's been running hot, I think I'm going to dump the coolant and replace the coolant while I'm in there, and all that stuff's gonna be easier to get to. I'm gonna delete the evap canister. I got a new chain guard here that's going on. It's gonna look sick. It's by Fly Hammer, and it's red anodized, and you can still kind of see the chain. Plus I'm gonna, while I got everything pulled apart and I got it up on the lift, finally I'm gonna go through and like clean really good, get this chain all cleaned off, and get all that, the initial like grease they put on that. The chains are freaking disgusting. So, but anyway, so I'm gonna start with the belly pan. So far, I already kind of started. You take these two, I think these are size, are they 4? Yeah. These two 4mm bolts out, one here, and then there's a 3mm one that's up in the middle here. And then it should split apart. And then as far as the sides, you got one here, and then I think you got a couple of bolts back in here. And I know I'm pretty sure there's some push pins, or those like push pin rivets and stuff up in there. So I'm gonna figure out how to get it done, and then before I take it off, I'll tell you exactly what I did to pull it off. But that's kind of where we're at for now. So I'm gonna pull this side off. I'm gonna get the belly pan off, and then I'll probably take this side off first. So I'll come back in a few minutes and let you guys know what I took off and what size bolts and where, because I've watched some videos where guys have done this, but I haven't done it myself. So once I have it for sure figured out, I'll let you know what you got to do, so you can, if you ever have to do it, you can do it too. All right, welcome back. So this was a little bit more involved than I thought it was going to be, but it's all right. We learned. So basically, when this is up here on the bike, so you end up having another 4mm down here, one here, one here, one here. And then up here, you have this piece on. So there's some 2.5mm. There's, because you have to remove this inner fairing piece that goes inside there. So you have a 2.5mm here. You have one here, which also holds the lower piece of this on. And then you have a third one over there. And then on the top side of this up here, you actually have a T25 Torx that holds that top piece in. Once you remove that, then you have to come up here and you have, I'll show you on the back side of this, it's probably easier. On the inside of here, going up the inside, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 size 3 Allens. And then in the very front, right up in here, you actually have a Phillips screw, style screw. And then you have a couple of little clips right here that go in behind here to the headlight nacelle. And then everything pops out. That'll give us access to our charcoal canister. Like I said, the oil filters in there, like all this stuff, I'll be able to get to all this a lot easier. That's how this is done. So I'm assuming the other side's pretty much the same. If I run into anything different, taking the other side off, then I'll give an update and let you guys know. All right, folks, got the other side fairing removed. It was the exact same process, same bolts, same sizes, everything. So nothing too crazy to tell you about there. Looks crazy without the fairings on it. Looks so skinny. So you can see the evap canister there. Get into the oil filter there. Gonna get in and change this. Rear sets. Got some axle adjusters, chain adjusters going to be putting on. Obviously removing the pipe, other rear set, some accent covers and stuff like that. Here's the servo motor, exhaust servo motor. Going to be removing that and these wires that go up and through and back into here. But it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, so I think I'm going to call it for tonight. I think I'm also going to just be safe and make sure that this isn't one of the ones that's got the wrong coolant mixture in it. I'm going to go ahead and, while I have it this far apart, I'm going to go ahead and drain that and put new coolant in that's pre-diluted so that I know that that's right while I'm at it. I'm also going to do the first oil change. So yeah, got a lot of stuff, you know, that I'm going to be doing, putting levers on it, get rid of these big honking ass things. I got a couple other parts that are still in the mail. Hopefully they'll come in before we finish so we can knock those out. But so that's pretty much it. Just gonna call it a night there, and I did clean the chain really good. I'll be adjusting it once I put the new axle adjusters in there. So that's pretty much it for tonight, and I'm gonna pick it up tomorrow. Probably gonna do the oil change first because I want to get it started and warmed up before I dump the oil. But I want to do that before I put the exhaust on because I'm gonna flash it, and I also have to do the take the tank off to do the velocity stacks and the air cleaner. So that's gonna be another process. I need to look up a couple of things on that before I jump in the middle of that. So, but yeah, so stay tuned. Can't wait to see the finished product and hear the finished product. So, all right, y'all have a good night.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel and keeps you updated on all our latest content.